This image is real. A lot of people were speculating that it was not. It's been confirmed that this photo does show a view from an airplane of the smoke clouds that are coming out of East Palestine, Ohio after 50 train cars were derailed carrying toxic chemicals, started spilling out everywhere, and in an effort to control it, the governor gave the okay for them to go ahead and light it on fire. And you can see, though, that now there's these clouds of smoke that are coming out that they're saying are toxic, and people in the area are outraged. Now, they are going back. They're saying it's safe, but they're saying that people are reporting getting headaches, nausea, getting sick from this. They're saying that 3,500 fish have died in the nearby river, and people are saying animals are dying, but a lot of people are saying, no, it's misinformation, that they are speculating that these deaths are being caused by the chemicals. But others are saying they're outraged because there's a lot of misinformation being spread, and they're saying it's been well over a week since this has taken place, and it was not reported. You had to search for the information on this, and they're asking the question, why is this? And they're saying that this could be a whole lot worse than we realized. Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you the latest update coming out from the governor, what we're hearing, and also some updates on the facts. So that way you can know what is happening, as they're saying that this could cause some serious issues down the road, and they're wondering just how bad is this going to be. So I want to share with you guys the latest, because as you know, here on the channel, I like to get you the latest information so you know what's taking place. If you appreciate that, smash the like button, subscribe to stay up to date. And first off, let's take a look at the news report that just came out yesterday, an update as to where things currently stand with this Ohio train derailment and this chemical fire that's spilling out these clouds of smoke around the U.S.
Tonight, outrage growing less than 2 weeks after that massive train derailment, and the controlled burn of hazardous chemicals sent up a toxic plume of black smoke in East Palestine, Ohio.
It doesn't smell safe. I'm taking my things and I'm out of here.
Residents demanding answers, complaining of burning eyes, nausea, headaches, and a pungent odor, and reporting dead animals. Officials confirming 3,500 fish killed by the chemicals.
Don't tell me it's safe. Something's going on if the fish are floating in the creek.
State officials now suggest drinking bottled water after telling evacuated residents it was safe to return home. The governor, who approved that controlled burn of toxic chemicals to prevent an explosion, was asked if he'd return home if he lived near the crash site, where crews now work to remove soil and wreckage possibly contaminated by chemicals like vinyl chloride, suspected of causing cancer.
I think that I would be drinking the bottled water, and I would be continuing to find out what the tests were showing as far as the air. I would be alert and concerned, but I think I would probably be back in my house.
Again today, officials saying constant tests and monitoring of the air and water show the environment is safe.
We understand some of the anxiety of the community. We're going to be here until this problem is cleaned up.
I'm not believing those reassurances yet.
Why not?
I need proof.
Janet Hill, a breast cancer survivor, says she has a constant cough and sore throat and worries about her firefighter son, who spent days working the crash site.
I worry what's going to happen 5, 10, 15 years down the road.
Ron Allen joining me here in the studio. The train operator, Norfolk Southern, is facing some lawsuits.
Yes, multiple class action complaints demanding compensation and health monitoring for residents. The company says it has no comment on pending litigation and that it already has provided more than $1 million and other support for the community, and they say they're not going anywhere.
Wow, so you heard the governor say that he would be back home, but he would use a lot of caution. Now, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I personally like to err on the side of caution myself, and recently here in Houston, Texas, we're kind of on the east side of the city, there was a chemical spill as well, and they released actually the odor for natural gas. They actually add an odor to it so you can smell it, and it just was everywhere, and it smelled so bad. Now, at the time, I had no idea what it was. Later on, they let us know that it was just the odor, but for me personally, finding out that there's a spill and you can smell this, I like to err on the side of safety. We have a family. I've got 2 small kids, so I just packed them up in the truck and we just started driving west until I couldn't smell it anymore, which was about 45 minutes. We got all the way out to Sugar Land, Texas, and we just stayed in a hotel for the night over there because for me, the safety of my children, my wife, my family is first and foremost. So that's just me, though. I like to err on the side of precaution. Even though they said it was okay and it was just an odor, I just would prefer to have less exposure to chemicals, regardless of whether they're toxic or not. That's just my personal opinion. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But let's take a look at this article that just came out yesterday that's going to give us some facts as to what's going on. All right, so this article says Ohio train derailment fact sheet, what's true and what's false. Going to give you the latest update on this. Just came out yesterday. This is linked in the description below, and it says a train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, prompted an array of false and misleading claims on social media where posts built on speculation, assumptions, or outright falsehoods accumulated thousands of shares and millions of views. The incident began shortly before 9 p.m. on February 3rd when a Norfolk Southern train left the tracks while traveling from Madison, Illinois to Conway, Pennsylvania. A total of 38 cars derailed and a fire ensued, damaging another 12 cars, according to the National Transportation Safety Board. There were 20 cars carrying hazardous materials, 11 of which were derailed. Residents were ordered to evacuate when, due to the threat of possible explosion, authorities chose to breach 5 tankers filled with vinyl chloride, sending hydrogen chloride and phosgene, a toxic gas, into the air. Here are some of the claims that have spread online in the wake of the chaos. So here are the claims, and I'm going to give you the latest facts that they're saying according to this article. Claim: the government has locked down East Palestine. It says East Palestine was placed under a state of emergency and temporary evacuation orders, but there is no indication that citizens are being prevented from traveling in and out of the town. East Palestine is not in lockdown. James Lee, the media relations manager for the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency, said in an email to USA Today. Immediately after the train derailment on February 3rd, about half of the 4,761 residents of East Palestine were told to evacuate. USA Today previously reported. More than 500 of them chose to stay in their homes, though. Residents received another evacuation notice on February 5th when officials determined that a dangerous explosion was possible. Evacuation orders were lifted February 8th when Ohio Governor Mike DeWine and other officials said that it was safe for residents to return home. Claim: residents of East Palestine have been told not to return by local officials. Residents who evacuated East Palestine have been told that they can safely return to their homes, according to a February 8th press release from the governor's office. This came after tests performed inside and outside of the evacuation zone found the air quality to be safe. An Environmental Protection Agency spokesperson told the Associated Press. The agency made the results of these tests publicly available on their website. Claim: animals in the area are dying. Thousands of fish are believed to have died from chemical spills due to the train derailment, but officials have yet to find evidence that non-aquatic wildlife was harmed. 3,500 fish across 12 species have died in creeks and streams near East Palestine in the aftermath of the incident. Mary Mertz, director of the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, said on a February 14th conference, there does not appear to have been any increase in the number of fish and other aquatic animals killed since the first few days after the derailment. We don't have any evidence of non-aquatic species suffering from the derailment. There have been anecdotal reports of other animals becoming sick or dying in the wake of the derailment. Teresa McGuire, director of the Columbian County Humane Society, which covers East Palestine, told the Herald Star that she has been compiling a list of animals possibly sickened from the exposure of toxic chemicals. McGuire said that she had received reports from more than 20 families as of February 13th, and some of the animals were diagnosed by their veterinarians with vinyl chloride poisoning. So it does look like some of the chemicals are getting to other animals. Tissue samples from a 6-week-old calf that died February 11th in an area about 2 miles from East Palestine have been sent to the Ohio Department of Agriculture's Animal Disease Diagnostic Laboratory to see if the cause of death can be determined, according to a February 16th news release from the Ohio Emergency Management Agency. The department continues to assure Ohioans that the food supply is safe and that the risk of livestock remains low. Claim: dead fish and cattle have been reported hundreds of miles away. There so far have been no evidence of harm to wildlife or livestock other than the roughly 3,500 fish killed in the immediate area of the derailment shortly after it had happened. Brian Baldrige, director of the Ohio Department of Agriculture, said at a February 14th news conference that to this date, there is nothing that we've seen in the livestock community that causes any concern. A plume of contamination is still slowly moving along the Ohio River. Tiffany Calvey, who leads the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency Division of Surface Water, said at a news conference. Officials are tracking the plume in real time and expect the treatment and the closing of the water intakes to keep the chemicals out of the local water system. The Ohio River is very large, and it's a water body that is able to dilute the pollutants very quickly. The plume was near Gallipolis, Ohio as of February 16th and is expected to be near Huntington, West Virginia on February 17th, according to the February 16th news release from the Ohio Emergency Management Agency. No vinyl chloride has been detected in the Ohio River, the release says. Claim, journalists are being arrested in East Palestine. A single journalist was arrested at a press conference in East Palestine, but the charges have been since dropped. Evan Lambert, a reporter for the News Nation, was arrested February 8th while delivering a live report on DeWine's news conference about a train derailment as a press conference was going on. A Columbian County Sheriff's Office spokesperson previously told USA Today that Lambert was charged with disorderly conduct and criminal trespassing, both of which are misdemeanor charges. However, Ohio Attorney General David Yost announced on February 15th that the charges against Lambert had been dismissed. There have been no reports of other journalists being arrested in East Palestine since the derailment. The U.S. Press Freedom Tracker is not aware of any arrests of any journalists in Ohio recently other than Evan Lambert, whose charges were dismissed today. We've not received any indication reporters are being denied access to events that would otherwise be open to the press. A bevy of national and local news organizations have been provided the coverage of events in East Palestine. Claim, Norfolk Southern is only offering residents $5 each. The idea that residents are only receiving $5 in compensation is categorically false, said Norfolk Southern media relations specialist Connor Spielmaker. Now, the claim appears to have originated with the initial announcement of a $25,000 Norfolk Southern donation for the community, the equivalent of $5 for each of the village's roughly 5,000 residents. But the plan was never to pay out that money directly, and that the company's financial commitment has grown since. Spielman said that the company is now sending $1,000 checks to residents of East Palestine. Norfolk Southern began offering the money to residents living within a 1-mile radius of the crash site after the evacuation notice was lifted on February 8th, Spielmaker said. By February 15th, that program was expanded to include all residents living within the 44413 zip code, according to the press release from the company. The company also announced February 14th that it had established a $1 million charitable fund to assist the community. And again, all of these sources are cited, so if you'd like to see them, this article is linked in the description below, and they have links to all of their sources that you can see as well. Now, what is Congress's response to this? Well, take a look at this. Political fallout over federal response to Ohio train derailment. Residents are upset, and the Biden administration is taking bipartisan heat. When Environmental Protection Agency Administrator Michael Regan came to East Palestine, Ohio on Thursday, he was the first top Biden administrative official on the scene since the Norfolk Southern rail cars filled with toxic chemicals derailed in the town 2 weeks ago. The incident has since sparked intense health and environmental concerns that forced hundreds to flee their homes. His visit came amid daily headline news coverage depicting angry residents and Republican and Democratic criticism of the federal government's response, or lack thereof, that had the White House on the defense. The day before Reagan arrived, the town's mayor told ABC News that he was ill-equipped to handle such a large-scale catastrophe. "I need help," East Palestine Mayor Trent Conaway said at a town hall on Wednesday night. "I am not ready for this. I was not built for this." And Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, a favorite GOP target who heads the agency that regulates railways, has been singled out by not only East Palestine residents, but also by conservative news outlets and the social media. "What happened in East Palestine is unacceptable," said Senator Ted Cruz. And I gotta say, Secretary Pete Buttigieg has been nowhere to be found on this issue, according to Cruz. You know, it's really remarkable thing that he hasn't gone to East Palestine to see what has happened there. He hasn't gone to Congress to explain what has happened. I know he's got aspirations, but he actually has a day job. He has a job he's been appointed to do that is incredibly important, and we need serious leadership. Florida Republican Senator Marco Rubio has written to President Joe Biden calling on Buttigieg to resign. The criticism has also come from the political left. Democratic Representative Rashida Tlaib of Michigan and Ilhan Omar of Minnesota called directly on Buttigieg to address the tragedy and ensure it never happens again. And West Virginia Democratic Senator Joe Manchin, whose state borders Ohio, on Thursday called the delay in the top-level administration's response unacceptable. While I am glad EPA Administrator Reagan will visit the site, it is unacceptable that it took nearly 2 weeks for a senior administrative official to show up. I urge President Biden, Administrator Reagan, and the Transportation Secretary Buttigieg to provide a complete picture of the damage and a comprehensive plan to ensure that the community is supported in the weeks, months, and years to come, and this sort of accident never happens again. During a town hall meeting on Wednesday night, when a local resident asked Conaway, "Where's Pete Buttigieg? Where's he at?" the mayor answered, "I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Yesterday was the first day that I heard anything from the White House." Man, so there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But for those of you that are near the incident, our thoughts and prayers go out to you guys. I'll keep you up to date as more comes out on this, as they're saying this could be a lot worse than they anticipated. Now, in addition to that, if you missed my video earlier today, check it out as I give you an update on SSI payments. I'll let you know about Social Security and any provisions or things that are happening that are going to be a benefit to you and your family. I'll keep you guys up to date. But with that being said, thank you so much for joining me again. Thoughts and prayers to those in Ohio, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.